This is Comic Burrito, an interview. I'm Todd.
I'm Cole.
I'm Nick, and we are with Adam and Megan talking about their new book, Sonder. Oh.
Perfect.
There it is.
Hello.
We should have.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. I'm ready to go to bed after this. It's quite late, so, you know.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm
only.
ready
What do you
for
mean?
dinner
It's
after
only
this.
4.
Yeah.
It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Weird.
I was gonna say this isn't lemonade that I'm drinking.
I mean, I haven't had dinner yet, and mine's not grape juice.
Cheers.
All right, so do you guys want to give like a synopsis of Sonder for everybody, and so we're not spoiling more than you would like?
Adam can do that.
So Sonder is a modern telling of a crisscross of fairy tales set in a gangland urban style. So the word Sonder is all about the cross-cutting of different people's lives and the fact that you may walk past someone in the street and not pay them any attention, but actually they've got this whole other thing going on as well. And if you take all these quite interesting stories and throw them all together, what actually results from that? And then the idea of having the key characters being ones we can all relate to from our childhood, Beauty and the Beast and Princess and the Pea were quite prominent in this first volume. Carries it through, hopefully.
Awesome. And then I'm assuming there's more tales that you're going to be bringing in future.
So
future issues too.
Weaving a few more into them as well. So that's your key ones. And then for villains, you can't go much better than Dracula, can you? So he's your Romanian gang drug lord with his son that's got a chip on the shoulder, something to prove as well. And everyone's paths seem to twist in through sins of times gone by. And we find them all with trying to find their way forward in the world.
Awesome.
Who's the publisher on this? I don't think
Marcosia.
Marcosia. Okay.
Marcosia.
It's a London publisher, I think.
That makes sense. And it takes place in London, as
it kind of does.
Oh, I saw the black cab, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, probably
so
London.
when I started it, I was living in Edinburgh with Adam, not living with him, but living in Edinburgh with Adam. And I basically made the city that Sonder's in kind of a mixture of like a lot of different cities, just because the city itself is a character, but also like it's any city that you've ever been to sort of thing. So there's always going to be mismatches of like American architecture. And then it's got the Edinburgh one, and then London as well woven in, just because like I just go out and take my own reference pictures and stuff and draw from that and things like that. But I thought it would just like give it a bit more like, you know, I don't want people being like, oh, that's New York or something, you know. But yeah, I wanted people to just identify with a city that they themselves have probably walked through or seen aspects of in their own lives, basically.
Cool. Oh, I like that. It's relatable for many different folks.
Hopefully.
So I guess for when you're writing like all these tales to cross between each other, how much planning actually goes into the writing of that for trying to figure out when they're crossing paths and when they're going to meet like all the other characters? Because that's what it's very starting to do, at least.
Do you have like a room in your house that has just like the crazy person, like yarn and
Lots of red yarn being used.
You've hit the nail on the head. I think
Literally does.
What's behind me now? Me and the wife have just bought a place, so I've moved into her apartment while we're waiting for all the paperwork to go through. So this is all very clean and tidy. And bless her, to come home, you know, after you've been dating someone for only a couple of days. I used to use big cardboard boxes nailed to the wall, and I just like go crazy on them with the pen. So she's very understanding. But for me, I'm quite a visual person. Like I like to be able to throw it out up on the wall and as you put it down and figure it out, this works, this doesn't. Megan's quite good as well, because originally I wrote it as a movie, so a screenplay, and there's certain things that may take half a second of motion, but then how do you capture that in a still format in an individual frame? So that's been one of the keys. And he just walked around the corner and
No, I
She
love
translates
that.
your beautiful minding.
There is some great visual action in what we read too. With the you get like the little word with the little line or whatever, and it's
I'm so bad at that stuff. I'm just like, it's not PAL, but it's like along that same vein. But but a lot of that art I did I think 2 years ago now or something, because it's been quite a long process, and I've had to get my life together at some point to start working on it again. And I think the last 12 pages I've done recently. So there is a tiny bit of a style change. Hopefully it's gotten better. But there is going to be a lot more action and stuff in the coming volumes as well, as things really pick up. So got my work cut out for me. Should be good. I'll try not to cry.
Yeah, I very much liked when they were drinking coffee, and there was the very long word that was above them. I don't want to ruin too much or anything. That's a nice.
Is it just silence? I can't remember.
It's silence, but it's you instead of pow. It's a noise that goes above them.
No, sip.
Yes. Sip. And it's just real long, and it's just you kind of you take in their having a moment, just they're just well, that was a lot. Just gonna decompress and just drink this coffee.
Because I'm working on webcomics, so I sometimes have a younger audience, so I'm just actually spelling some things out so they really just get it. But I guess
nothing's happening here.
You get it. It wasn't missed. That's the whole point of it. So
yeah, no, that's good. I liked it. I like not missing things.
Yeah.
So is there? Because I've read through it 1.5 times now. Is there reread value in that? Am I missing some connections in the background that I might have missed between characters? Is there sondering happening?
Not in season 1, I don't think.
Okay. That was my next mission. Was I'm going to look through the back of every panel.
Yeah, there's a character at the end of it, I think, that will come back later on. But I don't get a
specific figure behind some things.
Yeah, I don't think we got too into it on volume 1. That would have been a good, force something good to do, but we didn't think of it at the time. Oh well. We'll put it in future volumes. It's fine.
How long has the project been going? When did this start? And
literally, I think we teamed up. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now, wasn't it? So that was when I was living in. Yeah, that's when I was living in Edinburgh, and I've moved a lot since then. So we've kind of still kept in touch and still worked on it on and off and everything. And then we put it online for a bit. And then we managed to find a publisher. So it's kind of amping up again now. So I'm I actually need to work on this again to do volume 2 at some point, I guess. Along with 500 other things I'm doing. But, I fit it in.
It's crazy seeing something that you've essentially made up in your head take shape and come to life. I think when the first sketches that Megan sent across, I was like, wow, that's what it could be. And that was there. That was quite a cool part of the process. And now,
was that after we drank 2 bottles of wine, or was that?
It was very much a have a drink and would this work? Would that work? Would that not? And then it's sort of
I think every project meeting we had was always after work, but it was always at the pub. We always bought multiple bottles of wine, and we just got very drunk talking about comics and what we wanted to make and things like that. And I don't think I've seen Adam sober. I'm pretty sure I've seen him drunk more often than not. It's been a few years since I've seen him. Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Holds up 2 of them.
Again, it's 1:15 at night here, so it's fine.
Yeah, you're at the end. Yeah.
It's been a few years since we've seen each other in person at this point. I was going to head up to Edinburgh a couple months ago, but obviously I couldn't. So
Yeah.
Opportunities missed.
I see. This is just how everyone's working together now. So it's not that now it's not weird to just be remote.
Yeah, I've seen more of him doing podcasts than I have in like the actual face to face in 2 years. So
yeah, we get that. The three of us live in the same city, and we actually haven't seen each other in months.
Yeah.
I've seen Cole at the comic shop.
Yeah, we go to the same comic shop.
In passing, but not like hang out. Yeah.
Just longing looks.
Just yes.
I usually like to
longing
say,
6 feet away looks of just like
don't let her buy that stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new South Park where Cartman has his 6-foot stick?
Yes.
Yeah, like if the office opens back up and we have to go back in there, I'm taking a 6-foot stick with me as well, so I can.
Perks of working from home. I don't have to interact with anyone else. My life hasn't changed at all.
Me either. It's great. It's just an excuse to just get to be an introvert. It's like, sorry.
So I know you kind of have mentioned Volume 2. Do you guys have any plans for like how many volumes you're working on? Is there like a set amount of things, or are you just going to kind of go with it as it goes?
I think there's 7, isn't there?
Volumes.
How many did you say?
It's 73. I'm not told Megan this yet.
73.
Project test.
Bigger than I thought it was.
No, it's definitely a closed story. Like, it'll be quite cool potentially down the line, you know, if there's spin-off opportunities or the like. But for this one here, it is very much set out as you set up, go through your story, and it does come to a conclusion on that one. So I think still, again, it's a wee bit tricky trying to figure out how much story goes into how many pages in a different medium.
Yeah, you're getting at the end though when you're like, okay, this seems like it'll be about like 5 pages to do maybe, and then so it's just like you have to translate it into a comic in your brain and try and get the pacing and everything correct when you do it. And that's probably the hardest part with like trying to estimate how big a project is going to be, but you've gotten better at it.
I've started reading more comics as well. It's like I've completely done it backwards. Yeah, to write one and then read it and then figure out how they work. We're getting there.
And will they be coming out in singles, or will it be another trade produced?
It'd be another trade, I think, of about 60 pages or so.
Cool.
Maybe 70. I don't know. I've done some thumbnailing for Volume 2, and I've done a couple pages and everything, but I haven't thumbnailed the whole thing yet.
Definitely turned up. So you kind of know everyone now. You know a little bit of everyone. The sort of base is there, but now you really get the stakes. You really get the antagonists coming into it as well, which is it's quite exciting to actually see the next parts take shape.
We get some backstories finally. That's the worst part. You're like looking at a character and you're like, what is wrong with you? Why are you like this? And then it doesn't get explained that volume. You have to wait till the next one, and you're just like, I need to know. But man, some of those are crazy. Like if you do read Volume 2, you're not gonna get it. Like there's no way you can like conceive what half these people have got going on at this point, because it does get a bit like a fantasy-esque kind of like Unreal kind of thing, but also like, you know, could be plausible. You don't know. It's the best way to work.
Definitely got the best job in the partnership where I just get drunk and make stories up. Be like, that's plausible. That could happen.
Sometimes I'll just get a message and he'll be like, is this good? And I'm like, no. Don't message me at 3 a.m. Like, just think before you do it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cole.
Oh, I was just going to say, you had mentioned you were going to maybe share some of the drawings that you were doing. I don't know if you want to wing those in now.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Screen sharing is easy with 2 monitors. This one. Sure. I think it's popped up as a second screen.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go. Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
was,
This is my first
of
time
course,
thinking, oh,
of course, the next page that I'm working on. Of course, the next page that I'm working on is like the most complicated page I've done in a while, right? So,
That's a lot of little details.
it took me, I think, about 2 or 3 hours or something to line today. We've got some of the mafia, but Adam hasn't seen these. This is a new character. These two new. That one's from the first volume, and so is that one. And then we've got Vlad at the beginning, but he's got his.
to apologise for how I've written stuff.
How
one-on-one conversations against the black wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to take some liberties with some things, you know, because sometimes he'll just be like, "They're in a room," and I'm like, "Okay."
Cool.
But,
all of a sudden, they're in a sauna, and it's just.
So for this section, did Adam actually send you a picture of himself in front of his storyboard to help you get inspiration on how to draw this?
I did have to look for references, so that would have actually been helpful if he had done that. I actually had to get my partner to like step in, and I had to take like a photo about like some random angle or something, and I was like, "I need you to do this for me," and he was like, "Okay." But
I do love the idea that you're just beautiful minding everything while she's trying to decipher what it is.
You get it, right? And I'm just like, yeah. Let me just do all this real quick.
Again, I really do have the easiest part of the two of us here. But I do very much appreciate it, Megan. Very much.
Yeah. I'm glad you do. Because I don't do it out the kindness of my heart. I think that says more about the project than anything, though. That like, if I didn't think the project was good, I wouldn't work on it. You know. So
that's fair.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm quite happy with how the script's turning out and everything. So it should be good.
This is when we find out she's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm over this."
I'm over this. By the way, I don't want to do this anymore. And sorry.
I hope you like this. This is it.
This is all you're getting.
While you're doing that, I'll run through, because it's always a bit of a giggle, the story of how we met.
Oh my god! You always tell everyone that we're on a podcast how this happened, because it's just a horrendous story.
Well, now we have to hear it.
Yeah.
Any guesses between the three of you of how we came to
think of the worst possible way you can meet someone and then build a partnership from it.
Car accident. No.
Yeah, car accident's good. I'm gonna go with a bank heist gone wrong.
Those are all old school ideas. You need to think of something more modern.
Oh, your cell
Tinder
phone
date.
got switched.
No.
on the cell phone. So I had finished up a terrible Tinder date one night. And as when you finish a terrible Tinder date, you go straight back on Tinder because the next one will be better. Saw Megan's profile, which said she was a comic book artist, and I was like, "That's fantastic! I happen to have written a story that could be done." So, managed to message her, and the toughest part was trying to convince her that, because she was quite adamant that she was not interested in anything else other than the comic, and I was like, "No, definitely."
I was like, this is a comic thing, right? Not like a Tinder thing, right?
And at the same time, if a guy's going to write your whole comic, he deserves a date.
Good point. Yeah. At least a shot.
Eventually managed to convince her that it was an artistic relationship, and
purely artistic.
Artistic, yes.
I got her to read the script, but it's been quite a cool journey, though, seeing like getting your influence on things as well, seeing the story grow and change and become what it is, and as well doing it volume by volume. You do buy yourself a little bit of a safety net, so if there is something you need to tweak or change, you can play with it as well on that side.
Yeah, that's definitely the nicest part of it, is like, because I usually do webcomics instead, which is released weekly. If there's something that I want to like go back and add, I can't really do it because I can't just go back and add
things out.
because it's out, and like getting the publisher to change it is like a huge faff. So I just don't half the time, unless it's like a really big deal and I'm just like, this is fucked, I need to change this. But then but then like it's nicer to just do it this way, so you can kind of like take your time on it, and then like actually put all the details and stuff in it, and like, you know, have nice kind of detailed backgrounds, which is kind of a luxury for me, because I never actually get to do that, because like half the time I'm just like, okay, they're in a room, it's a box, it's got some furniture in it, but then you can't really see the furniture because it's out of panel all the time, because I don't have time to draw it.
Yeah, it's all about content. You don't get to have minutia or anything like that.
Yeah, literally. So that's
cool.
like kind of how I have to work. So it's kind of like a nice break to be able to work on this, and like just, it's not relaxing, but it's different.
That's interesting.
I'm not gonna call this relaxing.
That's really cool. I don't think we've talked to anybody who just does webcomics, like, or also does webcomics. So that's really interesting. It's kind of like, so it's kind of like how soap operas are shot. Like they're like written day of, and it's like, this is what we got. You can't deal with it, and just move along.
And the weekly releases are called episodes too, because I publish with Webtoon. So they have like, they literally call them episodes, and like you have to like release them weekly, and like blah, blah, blah. And that's just kind of been my life for like the last 2 years at this point. So it's been, I'm technically on hiatus at the moment because my season 1 just finished, which season 1's taken me 2 years to finish. So there's going to be like 4 seasons maybe. So
that's a long season.
I'm going to be like, I think I'm going to be like 32 when it finishes. I don't remember that. I'm like, that's a large chunk of my life.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's interesting.
But yeah, no, it's good fun. But like sometimes you just need like a break from it, because it does feel quite like a rat race sometimes when you're just like, I gotta get this finished, and like, you know, just is what it is.
Yeah.
And even on the webtoon, it's a completely different format as well, because you're scrolling down on your phone as opposed to flipping a page.
Yeah. It's in a vertical scrolling format, so these ones I get to like actually do like page formats with too, which is nice, but everything is different.
Are we gonna see our first like big splash page in the next volume by any chance? You gonna really go outside of the webtoons and it's just gonna be like boom? No? Yeah? No?
I might do that. I could do that. Yes, I think I will.
You heard it here first.
You reminded me that those exist, so I think I will do one now.
We're going to have to wait onto the episode for that one, Todd.
This is wildly interesting.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm almost like spending too much time looking at it.
I'm so enamored because I do such mild graphic design, like our background. That's what I did. It's real low level stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, like.
Oh, don't look at the digital painting that I'm currently doing. I haven't digitally painted in like yonks at this point.
I was gonna ask if that was a mirror or a painting, and it's coming together, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Yeah. I love that there's a painting. It's a painting in a painting.
Whoa.
It's just a little background.
I mean, if you want to use my face, I can pose for you.
It's been a while since I've done a portrait.
It's a dude with headphones, just on Vlad's wall.
These are all meant to be like mystical artifact things that he's gathered as well. So I think that would work, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you have to like kill off a like non-character or anything, you have our permission to use our likeness.
Yes, we're right here. Yeah.
That does tempt me.
If you need anybody,
Is that a red shirt, Cole?
Yeah,
it is.
You're perfect. You're already a red shirt. So you're. Oh. No, you go. Go.
No, I was just going to ask, what is your backgrounds?
What? Who are you asking?
Us?
Sorry, Todd, Cole, and Nick. Hi. You're a comic artist, Megan.
I really I have a background in retail, IT, and photography and videography. I have a lot of things I like, and it's spanned multiple things. But comics is I've been reading comics since I was 6. So this is kind of right up my alley. I get to do a lot of audio visual things while also just like talking comic books. So it works really well for me.
Ever since I've started doing it, it's only been a short time, you do just go, it's a fun thing to be involved in, isn't it? Like everyone's just genuinely passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's the best. It's the nicest community.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I've been a part of some real shit communities. This is a good one.
I used to play Dota 2. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it is like easily the worst community of all people. Like, hey guys, I'm trying something. We're non-ranked. Can somebody help me? Fuck off. Everyone quits.
Yep, KYS. And it's just like, oh, cool. Thanks, buddy. That's awesome.
But yeah, I know we actually started this because Nick and I were talking comics, and he talked with Todd. He started a Facebook messenger group with us, and we were just talking. And then one day, Todd was just like, "Hey, I've got stuff to do a podcast. You guys want to try this?" And we're like, "Yes." And I've
got cameras and
it was basically like, do you want to do what we do on Facebook Messenger, just like in person, like people do? And I was like, sure. And then we started doing it, and now we can't meet together at all anymore.
I was watching one of your episodes though, and I think in the live chats there was someone from Australia messaging in. Like, it's quite a all over the world.
Yeah, we've got somebody from Japan that comes in pretty often. Whack from Australia. We've got
and even the US pretty much, like,
a lot all over the US, which is already a lot when you're getting all over geographically.
There's a couple from Canada,
and that's I love it. Like, you can there is no bounds, there are no boundaries when it comes to like comics and who you can meet and talk to, and it's great, which is why I love this. Like, yeah, it sucks to not be able to be in person, but the five of us were never going to be in a room together. That was never going to happen. So it's just awesome. I love that this is like possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually seeing the process, like you say, I could quite happily just sit here and drink for the rest of the night and watch Megan work. Like,
right?
That's why I do streams.
Oh, you have streams? Do you want to? We'll put it in the description. But what's your? Stream?
I'm just at Meg J Stev, MEGJSTEV everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch as well, which is where I stream.
I wasn't ready to take.
I'll definitely.
I got it, and I can.
You got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like to make it easy for people to find.
Where do you stream on Twitch? Where else?
Yeah.
Anywhere else?
I only stream on Twitch, and then I do like a Patreon only stream as well.
Cool.
But
is the regular voting still open?
No, that's finished. Those get announced in November 14th or something, I think, like that. I'm going to be doing a couple of panels and stuff for Baltimore Comic-Con as well. So
nice.
It's going to be a long night. Last time, because I was nominated last year for a Ringo Award as well for Best Webcomic and Cartoonist, I think.
Awesome.
And it was because of the time difference. It was 4 a.m. my time when I was finally announced in the last category, and I was in bed, and I was like, "Great,
worth it."
I think it's something that you never get to do very often. So I was just like, "Yeah, I'll just stay up for it." But like, God, I don't sleep much as is. That was probably not the best thing to do, but whatever.
It paid off, though. I mean, that must have been exciting to hear.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love having my name announced by people every now and then. So
yeah, who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love a good name announcement?
Yeah. Please say it out loud. Say all my name with the last name included.
So, Adam, Vlad is a part of this. Are you? And then you've got Beauty and the Beast and Princess and the Pea and all that. Are you a big like mythology fan or a big like fantasy fan? Is there like roots to like a passion in here, or was this more of like this seems really cool, I'm gonna like expound on it?
Yeah, again, it's I've done it completely backwards. Like, I wrote something that was a comic and then learned what comics were. My first job got to Edinburgh about 5 years ago now. I started off as a pub cook, and I was making soup one day, and literally a pea fell into the soup. I was not a very good pub cook, and then in my mind, like, just wanders, and I was like, your Princess and the Pea story. I was like, imagine if you find love your life, pea in the soup, and goes from there. And then, like, obviously your next big one is Beauty and the Beast. and that's really the start of it all there. And I'd done a bit of writing beforehand, and it was one of those ideas that just stuck in the back of your head and would not go away. So I started scribbling it down. Now the board that Megan's working on, that's where you get lost in a series of links on Wikipedia where you look at this treasure and that myth and how that relates to, and what would drive this person to want to find out what the secret to whatever is that comes from. And that's where it really happened. Yes, I'd love to give you some cool answer and be like, no, I studied archaeology and used to do it. No. Drank a lot, was a really bad cook, and made a story up, and then got quite into it.
Cool.
Did you
Wikipedia rabbit hole.
It is. I think everyone knows, whether they'll admit it or not, that old blue links is dangerous.
I know it is dangerous, but it's also just the best because I know so much. You just learn so much random crap because you're just like, oh, interesting, and then you're like, I didn't need to know this, but now I do.
My other one is from the one browser tab. I'll end up with about 50 because I don't want to give up on what I'm already looking at. So I'm opening a new tab, and then you wake up the next morning with a hangover, 50 browser tabs open, and go like, I have no idea.
I don't know what any of this means. Yeah, I don't know what any of this is.
I don't know why I need to know how.
That's when you send it all to Megan and say, "Can you make any sense out of it?"
Yeah, this is part of the
story.
There's a few links.
I'm so tired. Please don't do that.
She's like, I have to make Mayan temples now? Where did this come from?
The struggle.
Nick, Cole, and Todd said that this was the process, Megan, so I apologize, but...
What are you going to do?
Disagree.
A formal disagreeing, please.
I think I'm going to just submit a complaint after that one.
You just send him a comment card.
I am most displeased.
Leave it in the art somewhere and see if he figures it out. And if it doesn't, and it just gets to publish, you can tell him later about it.
That's when I find out that he doesn't actually look at the things that I draw. He just like glances at them and then just calls it good and just moves on.
I don't quite get this one random index card in the middle of it, but we'll call it okay.
So you do the letters as also, I assume, like you're the layout editor, letterer.
I hate lettering.
Artist.
Yeah, I do everything, and I hate lettering.
It's a lot.
I'm not good at typography. I dislike it immensely, and anti-aliasing is my nemesis. Like it's just, I literally just makes me so angry, and it just is time consuming and just not very aesthetically pleasing. I don't like it.
You hear kerning and you like twitch. Yeah,
but that was a big eye opener as well. I think one of the first things is when you're like, do you prefer this style of lettering or that style? And I was sort of hummed and hard, and then you sent me the link to the website that you get them from, and there's like thousands upon, and that's 4 hours gone of like, oh shit, this one's a little My appreciation for the art form has just gone through the roof through the process. Like every little detail, it's a million decisions that come through every frame.
I think that's the hardest part, is deciding what one you want to go with. Like I don't necessarily mind having to do the lettering and stuff, right? But like having to choose what type and what font is just
because you're also stuck in with it. Like it's not an easy like. You can't really change it midway. You can change it for, like, the next volume, but like that is what it is. I mean, it took us what, hours between the three of us to choose between like 5 fonts when I actually whittled them down.
Oh yeah.
And that was for a stupid like.
It was like 3 days. It was like 3 days of like, well, maybe make it a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's just like it's for like one title that we barely use for things.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
It's
hard.
really
It's especially harder when you're working with someone when you do it as well, because you have to run everything by them, and then like they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not completely sure about it," and then you're like, "Well, now I'm not sure about it," and it just kind of continues from there until one of you is just like, "No, we're just doing this one," and you're like, "Okay," and then you just kind of move on.
I think that's what I said I would do next time. I'm like, I'm not talking to you guys next time.
Our problem was the three of us, Todd would be like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I really like that," and Cole would be like, "No, hate it."
Like,
like you get that where like one person does they really, it's like, "Oh yeah, I like this," and somebody else is no, and then it switches the other way. He'd show another one that it'd go back and forth, trying to find one that everyone agrees on.
I'm getting anxiety flashbacks.
Just thinking of the color yellow.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. The more people just involved in the decision-making process, the harder it is generally. So it's fine if there's just two of us, like that's manageable. Nice. But anything more than that, I think would just be too much.
I'm assuming Adam defers to you on a lot of things.
I think you do. I don't think you make big decisions without asking my input, do you? Like,
definitely not at this stage now. I think you're at the stage where it's gone from being your baby to being a joint.
To our baby is what you're trying to
say. And you do, like, I think early on, what I considered little decisions, I was oblivious to the consequences of, like, oh, change this, change that. It's hours of work. And then now you're like, oh, shit. So you try and find that a little bit sooner. Even while we're saying this, Megan, can you scroll back down to the bottom slightly?
Yes, real light. Oh my goodness, yes.
Up. So on the frame that you're working on, so go up a little bit.
Oh,
and then so zoom into the bottle you're just working on. So you've put the rose on there. That's the sort of the logo, like details like that.
I just drew a rose.
You get the appreciation for that now, but you're like, you never would have matched that to the rose which is on the cover for Sonder. Like, it's all, there we go, bottom right.
There you go.
But it's like, it's all this detail, all that effort that you just go, shit, well done. I think, once you've got that understanding, it does make the relationships a whole lot sort of easier to work through.
It is like parenting, isn't it?
We'll raise our child properly.
It will be magnificent.
Instead of university, we'll send them to the school of Netflix. That's
the dream.
You, Adam, you mentioned not having as much time to write because you're reading so much. What's some stuff that you're reading right now that you really like?
We have.
He just runs away.
He doesn't come back because he's reading.
Ooh, all right.
We have. I'm a sucker for Marvel movies, like that's. So Doctor Strange was through the list.
Cool.
I went a wee bit old school with 2 X-Men's.
Whoa!
But just to see how they'll break one comic up and move into another in your frame as well, and you've got to love a bit of Deadpool as well. So that's on the reading list at the moment to get a bit of feel. I'm lucky enough that with my job, as long as I've got my alerts on a loud enough sound and I can action anything, I get away with doing not too much at all through the day. So that's
working from home.
Lucky to have one of those jobs, so it's good.
Yeah.
Who? I'm just because I'm curious because I really liked them and I appreciated the Vlad in the first volume. He had like these armbands.
Yeah, the little what are they called?
The metal like.
They're like old school things that, like, if you watch Peaky Blinders or something, they wear them in Peaky Blinders and stuff like that. It's just like literally just keeps the sleeves like rolled back or up, or I don't know what they're for.
Yeah, they keep things from being like, it's so like you know how right there you have like the little like shirt sticking out, it makes sure the shirt keeps sticking out, like it keeps things like in place and all of that. And I really appreciated it. I saw that and I was just like, oh, I like, it's such a like a really specific detail, and it's not something from this time. It is classy, exactly, but it's not something you see now. But it makes sense for somebody who's like really obsessed with what they're obsessed with. I think I was probably watching Peaky Blinders while drawing it, or I had it like in the back of my mind, and I was like, you know what, this is classy. I'm going to also give it to Vlad. But I really liked them.
They'll make another appearance if he takes his jacket off, I think.
Oh, I hope so.
I'll take his jacket off just for you, just so you can
full frontal nudity in volume 2.
Full what?
Frontal nudity.
Oh, perfect. He still has the bands on without a shirt.
Just the bands. Oh, God.
We find out there's bands other places we didn't know about.
Don't give me ideas.
I mean,
that'll be on the Patreon one. That'll be on the
that's the Patreon.
There is a not safe for work tier, just saying. Maybe he's on it.
So for people that are like looking to find your book, what are some places that they can find this at?
Sonder's on Amazon, Waterstones, Barnes and Noble, literally in Target has it as well. My sister told me
there's only 8 left on Amazon. So
yeah, I think they restock them every now and then, but they always it has it on Kindle as well. So Kindle's always a good shout, but yeah, it's everywhere. They've done a good job putting it out at least, so that's what publishers are for, right?
Right, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you hope for.
Ugh.
And then, so like with volume 2, is that going to be straight to like release in like publisher like Amazon, or are you guys going to try and do Kickstarter or something like that? Or
it'll probably be released again, I think. I don't know. A Kickstarter might be interesting, but then we would probably have to run it because I don't think the publisher does Kickstarters or anything. So it might be something to look into. But if they're just going to publish it, then we might just take that route, you know.
Yeah.
Probably a lot less work and hustle for you guys.
Yeah. I've got another webcomic that I'm looking to kickstart at the moment, and I'm just like, this is going to be a lot because it's quite a big, like, it's quite well read as well. So I'm just sort of like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. But
You're taking you said a webcomic collection to Kickstarter?
The first volume, so it'll be the first 26 episodes. Currently, there is 90 episodes released because the season 1 just finished. So the first 26 are going to be looking to be put into a book at some point.
Nice. That's awesome. I feel Kickstarter is it's such an interesting landscape for comics.
It's good. It's a way for people that usually would have no way to get that kind of revenue to help them print their comics and stuff. It's a way for people to literally just give them money to do it, and then it's community involvement and everything. But like it's we've already talked about the comic community being where it is and how supportive it is. So Kickstarter is like a godsend, honestly, to for a lot of different things, especially like board games and things as well.
I was literally going to say it's board games.
I've seen some really cool board games on there that I'm just like, I would get that.
And it's stuff you never get. Like, some of my favorite board games I have are because like some guy had a crazy idea, but no one was going to do it, and Kickstarter is just like, oh, thank you for this really specific like European agriculture card game. It's just like that's not something that you would like somebody who publishes games aren't going to be like, well, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, you generally find that like if you have an interest in it, there's probably someone else there that also has an interest in it, and then they will also pay money to do the thing.
Yeah, the beauty of the internet.
Yeah, literally. But
I am really happy that Vlad is a thing in this book, along with like those more traditional fairy tales that you have going on. It's Dracula really cool.
What is it? What is it when you can just use it without copyright?
Public domain.
Yeah, there you go. Dracula's public domain, so it's fine.
Yeah. You get a lot of like grim fairy tales because they're public domain.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't usually get anything like mixed in with them. It's usually like a fairy tale land, and then for some reason the rest of mythology is like left out. And it's really cool to see like Vlad the Impaler is making his appearance alongside of like this more traditional fairy tale things, and I think that's a really cool concept.
It's like a crossover, like a fairy tale crossover kind of a thing.
Well, to an extent, he was made into a fairy tale as well, wasn't he? Like he's more of like a myth as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of ignorance of the rules there actually kind of works all right, because you just go, that's cool, I like that. That's cool, I like that. Comics, Marvel, and DC. You pick the best of each, and just see what happens. Yeah.
It's the rule of cool. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's cool at the end. There you go.
Aye, and if you're having a bad guy, like I'm a sucker for Blade as well. Like if you're talking old school comics and that, like you need Dracula, don't you?
Right? It's awesome. It's very interesting. I love that because it definitely puts a whole nother spin on it, because like you kind of know how some fairy tale people will react to other fairy tale people, but it's like, oh, also vampire, whatever. It's like, I don't know how Prince Charming would feel about Vlad the Impaler.
You're about to find out there.
Oh man, is that gonna? What perspective is that? Is that another painting, or are you recreating a painting from the last panel?
No, this is another painting. I was just trying to decide what to put in it. Maybe a
cool poses. He's trying so hard. Like,
I might do like a spooky night scene. And
he's doing one of these. Like, this is how I sit.
Oh, that's good.
So I know we asked Adam, but Megan, do you have any books that you're reading or comics that you kind of go back to?
I just read this one, Nomen Omen.
Nomen Omen. Yeah.
It actually gave me Sonder vibes. It's actually quite good. I was going to actually recommend it to Adam to read later on. Mm-hmm. It's quite trippy. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's got magic and stuff in it. It seems to be like another world as well, but the visuals are really good, which is why I bought it. I've also got a bunch of things by Tilly Walden, because I like the indie published stuff. I've got Sunstone. I don't know if anyone's
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that one's super pretty as well.
Are you still reading Saga?
Yeah, I still read Saga as well.
That was one you got me onto as well, yeah.
Yeah, we love a good space opera. And I read manga as well. But
oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a little bit there to read.
Yeah. If I tilt my webcam over, you can see all my Funko Pops, like Saga ones right over there. And
I didn't know they did Funko Pops of Saga as well.
I had no reason to get Funko Pops until Saga created them.
Cole likes Saga a little bit.
Just a little.
He hasn't named his daughter after the main character or anything.
His daughter named Marco.
His daughter's named Marco.
Just Gus with the umlaut.
Yeah, how's Lion Cat doing, Cole?
She's wonderful.
No, what's the seal? The seal's called Friendo, isn't it?
Yeah.
All good names for kids.
Yeah.
It's actually Prince Robot the 4th or 5th.
Oh my god, that would make me so happy. I would be all the time being like, you should bring Prince Robot over. Her and my daughter can have a play date. Oh, is this going to be Vlad's castle?
Yes. Let's say that. I was just gonna do generic spooky castle, but it can also be Vlads. It can be whatever you want.
It's definitely Transylvania. That's all. That's what I'm seeing.
Vibe. It's got the vibe for it, doesn't it?
There's a BBC TV program that did 3 episodes for Dracula. I'm not sure if that's made it across the States. The first 2 phenomenal episodes. Last time they dropped the ball, something chronic. So, all right, watch the across there. Well worth watch the first 2. Third one, terrible. I give it 4 stars. Yes.
I don't have a TV, so I can't watch it. Sorry.
Whoa! Well, you have a computer. That's a TV now.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a TV.
Yeah.
But also, you have to pay TV licenses, which is bullshit. So
don't you have like Channel 4 or just Dave or something like that, so you can watch it for free or something like that?
I don't know. There's nothing on it that I want to watch anyway, so I can't be asked. I literally I just watch all the true crime things on YouTube all day, every day. And then every now and then I'll get tired of that and I'll go to Netflix and watch the true crime stuff on there. Like if they put any stuff on
it's just a big circle back to true crime stuff.
The thing is that it's horrendous, but it's also just very easy to watch for some reason. It just flows real good. It's just easy to have on in the background with people screaming and like crying about their loved ones being killed. But like it's just good watching, you know.
You just have your popcorn, you listen to the screams of like horrible things and families being torn asunder. It's relaxing.
It's all the detective work that goes on, and then all the detective work that also doesn't go on, and then you just get mad at the police for a bit, and it's just a vicious cycle. I think I just like being angry. I think that's probably it.
Fair.
Spoilers alert, volume 2, a lot of people just get murdered for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
Adam's like, I didn't write it that way.
Yeah.
It was me just
Guys.
Wait, why has this character died? Megan, what have you?
Oh, Megan, yeah. Oh.
I'll just edit the script when you're not looking. It's fine. I'm excited for more Damien in Volume 2, just because I love Dirtbag characters. Like, I love the rich boys that are never good enough for their fathers, and then they just try and be good enough for their fathers, and then they at one point realize that they don't have to be good enough for their fathers, and that's my favorite trope. It's a
good trope. It's fun.
He was a sleeper too. He was never meant to be anyone terribly significant, but you build this world, you build these characters, and you start writing for them. And then they sort of say, it's like, well, actually, that's not what I would have done. And they take on a life of their own. And you're like, actually, you've got a bit more to you than I thought you did, haven't you? So there's a couple in that. And you kind of hope it sort of is reflected in the story and takes you on the same journey when you think this person's someone. But a couple of things happen, and actually they turn out to be someone completely different when the time comes.
That's cool. That's interesting because it's kind of like when TV shows that you'll hear later on that they were only meant to be an extra, and then they end up being like a series regular, and it's just like, oh, that's crazy because I can't imagine it without them.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a couple of those in Sonder that were, there for a good one-liner or something that actually, you needed them to either challenge the people that were the main characters, or then actually, had more to offer to come into it.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, if they do this, it makes sense that they would do this, and all of a sudden you're down this rabbit hole, and it's like, oh, I just made a character.
That was my
Wikipedia, like,
yeah, it's the rabbit hole. Yeah.
I think my favorite one is oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think for me, whenever I create characters, they're always elaborate in my brain to begin with. So like sometimes I just have to tone them down a bit because I'm like, I can't have them all be the main character like all the time. It's just gonna get too much at that point. But
there's a difference between ensemble and 12 main characters all with an issue.
Yeah. They all need their own spin-offs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to do a spin-off for all my characters though, like
yeah, right.
Just a one shot. You know,
yeah,
see where it goes.
A 70-page one shot.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah, my favorite I don't maybe this is what you're gonna, but mine is either Phyllis from the US office, because she was never meant to actually be
that's what I was saying.
She was never meant to be a full character, or Gunther from Friends. He was only supposed to be the background guy, but he just knew how to make espresso, so he ended up becoming like this full featured like character throughout like the whole series, and I love that stuff. It's cool.
My favorite is Jack from Lost.
Yeah, I can't. Like, that's so crazy.
The whole show would. I just can't imagine what that show would have been. Yeah, because
he was supposed to die, right?
He was supposed to die like midway or at the end of. I think it was midway between the first season.
Oh, I thought it was during the pilot he was supposed to die.
Because it was. I think it was after the pilot that they decided to keep him on. But
maybe that's crazy.
But yeah, going from a character that was supposed to be in a few episodes and die off, and then becomes the main, the main everything.
The very main everything, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sound really old here, but has anyone watched MASH?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So it's why I know the 10-year chronicle of the Korean War.
I apologize for anyone here that either has a life or is not boring as all fuck. But like when you watch it initially, because I'd sort of seen it, but like I guess it's like Friends where you'd watch a couple of episodes here, a couple of episodes there. But to watch it from the beginning, you do really see those characters develop. Like Klinger, you'd say he was never meant to be anything more than a side piece, becomes quite a main bit, and like it is quite cool to see that development across the side. And I genuinely wish I had a cooler something to call on the MASH, but yeah.
No, that's really cool. I think it's MASH, Faulty Towers, and I'm trying to think of like those. That's a pillar. MASH is a pillar.
Right. You need your foundations if you're going to build on. Aye.
Yeah.
I never watched any of those.
I never watched tons of MASH, but I do have a MASH T-shirt.
Nice.
I don't know if that's worse.
I have seen the show. Well, it was.
I own the shirt, but I haven't
shirt.
Seen it.
No, yeah. That's what happens when you're at the thrift shop and something's $3. And it's
a good point.
And it's pop culture, so it's
Isn't that everything at the thrift store though?
Yeah.
$3.
It's a nice green T-shirt.
So do you have any do we get any insights other than what we do about what's to be expected in like volume 2? Like a little teaser, aside that Vlad is a badass.
Honestly, I've got enough bourbon in me at the moment that I'll tell you everything.
No, you can't tell all the spoilers.
No, it's not live. I'll edit it out. It's okay.
I will send you the whole script right now.
I just put it on the screen and we're just reading it all together.
Yes, let's do a table read of the entire script.
That's the one that Right, I'm going to throw this to Megan because she's the responsible person in the group.
Yeah.
She's the responsible person.
That's unfortunate.
It's all on you, Megan.
Yeah. I'm trying to, let me try and think about the last time when I read the script was now though. We get Adam's back, not Adam, but Adam, the character that he named after himself. I'm going
to interrupt here, kid.
You named it after yourself. Don't lie.
If anybody Googles, and this broke my heart when it happened, So Beauty and the Beast doesn't have an established name, but the closest you get to it is Prince Adam. And I was like, for the love of fuck. Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah, and genuinely Google away, and it's not solid enough to be, but at the same time, that's as close as you get. Yeah, so I'm not that arrogant that I named the main guy after myself. Not quite.
But yeah, we get some of his backstory finally, because he's kind of like an enigma at the moment who just keeps people that he's kidnapped in his closet, and
I mean,
and, yeah,
I don't have a problem with him thus far.
Do we get to see more of Closet Guy in the second trade, or at least figure out his outcome?
No, fuck him.
Maybe volume 3. I think we might
comes back around. It's just a skeleton.
Chronicles of Closet Guy.
He literally has a skeleton in his closet.
He was a bad guy. He was a bad person, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why is she questioning this?
But yeah, you get to kind of like find out what Adam's deal is, and how he fits into like the whole supernatural sort of thing, and like why he rescues people in the middle of the night from gangsters and things like that. So we get some answers, which is always a nice thing.
And a whole lot of questions. Yeah,
right. Yeah, of course.
You can't get away with it. We get to see more of the lovey-dovey couple, because their relationship is perfect and absolutely nothing can go wrong. And
what could go wrong with that?
It's a fairy
just
tale.
A fairy tale.
Fairy tale and a fairy tale story.
Because I also love the fact that it's not one of those things where it's like allegory, where it's like, Aslan's Jesus. It's they're being like very upfront. You're not like trying to hide the fact that this is fairy tale inspired. You even say fairy tale multiple times within the volume.
Yeah.
And I really like that. It's not necessarily meta, but it's also just like, we're not trying to bullshit. This is like the inspiration. This is what we're going after. Like it's kind of like the White Rabbit, like follow us down. Like, like here you go. Like figure it out. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just try and use like all the symbolism and stuff for you to try and like guess who's what or whatever. But like in this one, sometimes the characters will just outright say it, be like, "Oh, you're such a beast," like something like that, and you're like,
Yep. Oh, he is. Yeah.
Or they'll have like a nickname like P.
Yes.
Although you haven't had his backstory yet either, so that's in volume 2 also.
Ooh, nice.
Little Jack the P boy.
I say Jack the Psycho. Him with the fire and that smile was so good.
Yeah,
I was just like, this dude's crazy. I love it. I'm so in.
A lot. Tiffany doesn't understand what she's gotten herself into.
Yeah, I was like, this poor girl.
And then also, I think it works both ways as well.
That makes sense.
Because there's a reason that she's left home as well, right?
Yeah, that is really interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes, because their relationship is really interesting.
Little rich girl escaping her family, probably. We don't know yet.
Oh man, I'm totally going to be watching your stream, because this is so meditative to just watch.
Sometimes I have nice music on them. Sometimes it's just my grating voice. My grating voice. I stream a lot of my things that I do, because I have like 20 projects I'm working on. So if I stream, I do whatever I feel like doing that day. That's not like my actual webcomic work that I get paid for. But
have you watched this, Adam? Is this a thing?
I'm just as mesmerized as you are at the moment. Like, so long silent pauses we'll just collectively chalk up to that we're all sitting here.
Yeah, right.
Listen, quite happily, just that's the magic taking place in front of your face.
I told you I'd message you next time I do a Sonder stream, so you can just watch it again.
And I know this is it's a short thing to say in a format like this, but I'll send you a before, mid, after pick. So I think one of the first ones that I showed Megan, and they are these like a preschooler could have done better pictures. So I've got these sort of box pictures.
We're in the pub, to be fair.
This is 1.5 bottles of wine in. Megan. This is the main character, is Megan. And then she'll come back in no time at all with just like, you mean like this? And I'm like, yes. All this color and detail. I'm like, that's the one. Yeah. No, you laugh now, but they are genuinely horrendous from my side. Like, I'm surprised you distinguished people from zebras. This could be a comic about zebras right now if there wasn't no one involved.
Can we get that in the next trade? Your like the last 12 pages are your sketches with the before and after. Like, this is what Adam sent. This is what Megan did. Aren't you happy?
If you go to Kickstarter, that seems like a very good backer reward.
That's a good stretch goal.
Yeah, I'd spend it.
If this was Kickstarter, I'd never get off the ground with my arc. Like.
That's what they'd be paying to upgrade.
Yeah, it starts with Adam's art, and if you get enough backers, then Megan will come in.
It'd be amazing. Or the first
takes over another pancake, and then they become a pile of pancakes.
Yes, the first 2 pages are Adam, and it slowly sifts into Megan. Oh man, can I ask what you're using to since we're mesmerized by this? What are you? First of all, I see your glove, so I'm assuming you got your resting glove, so you're not capacitive on your screen.
Yeah. I have a 22, which I can tilt it down. There you go. I've got a 22-inch XD pen tablet thing or whatever. Ignore the fact that I'm wearing sweatpants.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah, me either. I was looking at the screen.
And then I use mostly Paint Tool Sci, which is what this program is, just because it's a lot lighter than a lot of the other programs. I don't touch Photoshop because I hate it. It's just horrendous. And if I need to do Photoshop. If I need to do lettering or anything, I'll do it on Clip Studio Paint instead, where they have all the fun effects and the 3D objects and things like that. But it's normally it's a heavier program. So whenever I was just using my laptop, which isn't as powerful as my new PC that I have, it literally it couldn't handle both programs at once. So I would just do it predominantly in Sci and then transfer it over. But now I can work in both, and it's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I say is so that your screen is attached to your PC. I'm assuming right now.
It works like a mouse, kind of. It's literally just a second screen that you can draw on. Essentially.
Yeah, you can draw on. Yeah, I don't do it enough, but I've always wanted one of because even though I'll use it once a month, I always wanted one of those that swivel down that you can grab and put into the right spot and then draw on. And I'm like, do I really need to spend this much money for something that's kind of convenient that I'll do every once in a while? Yeah. But it's really cool. Yes.
Whenever I first bought this tablet, I bought the whatever the arm things are called, I can't remember now. To attach it to, but I was looking at the weights and stuff on it. I knew how much a tablet weighed. I knew how much the arm could do. So I was like, I get this kind of stronger one, so it can definitely hold it up. But it was so strong that I literally couldn't pull it down. So I was like, is this broken? Am I doing something wrong? And I had to put my full weight on it just to get it to lower slowly. And I was like, okay, there's something wrong here. So
I
ended up just returning it, and then I just never got another one because I just was like.
So you just put a tabletop.
Yeah, literally. It's just got a stand on it. I think I would get the arm just because the position that I draw in is really bad. So I get neck.
Yeah, you're gonna get carpal tunnel. You should watch out.
Yeah, I know. And then my knee's real bad.
Before we finish this.
Yeah.
Hurry.
Hold on.
Hold on.
That's my other comic. I'm not flexing. I'm just.
I was like, oh, it was it.
No,
We like this one. We like this one a lot.
Yeah, sometimes the sensitivity on my thing goes, so I have to like just minimize and then maximize again.
Yeah, I like the idea of you returning an arm with like a piece of drywall on it because the drywall gave before the arm did. So you're like, yeah, this doesn't work. I need to return this.
Yeah. It definitely like got put haphazardly into the box because I couldn't figure out how.
Oh, that's the worst.
That it was meant to go, and I was just like, they understand. It's fine. Yeah. I ordered a cafetiere the other day because I drink a lot of coffee, except I can't because I'm bad with caffeine. But I was like, I'm going to get myself like a nice coffee maker to celebrate finishing season 1 of this thing. So I didn't even get a coffee maker. I got a cafetiere and it came and I was super excited and the glass was broken. And I was just like, oh. And I like hadn't had coffee that day because I was waiting for it. And it came broken, so I had to return that. I ended up getting just a percolator instead, which is great. But like also, but like I hate returning things to Amazon because like it's just such a faff. And like sometimes, and then they're like, "Do you want the credit or do you want the money?" And I was like, "Just give me the credit because I'm gonna buy stuff." Given it yesterday, I could have bought these things I bought today with it. Like,
right. It's like, you know me, Amazon. I'm here like every other day.
Not
Shut up.
Games. Just give me my money in my store credit, and it will be fine. So I can buy another shitty fucking cafetiere that's broken, but it's fine.
So, Adam, are you working on other things besides just this?
My next project is it's a bit of a big one. So it's a sort of a apocalypse style one, but wanting to go through the process of how we got to the apocalypse and kind of wanting to throw all your tropes in there as well, but without the main tropes, which is a complete contradiction of everything. So that's right. Sounds completely ridiculous. 50-50 chance that it is complete shite, but if it works, it should be quite cool. Which is not the best pitch, but you put me on the spot. So
it might be good. It might not be. We'll see, I guess.
Lots of ridiculous shit that's been done before will be done again, but slightly differently. But most probably exactly the same and be just as shite as everyone before it. Over to you, Megan, and room 3.
Well, I've got the Croaking, which is all my screens are backwards now. This one, it's about bird people, but it's like kind of soft sci-fi fantasy, military academy / government conspiracy sort of thing. It's a lot. There's going to be a lot. That's the one that just finished season 1 because it's a hefty one. And then I've got
really cool. It's one of those really simple ideas that when you see it, you go, shit, that would have been a much easier project to do under your belt. But I quite like how you've divided everyone by species, but also / in this one by bird type. Like it's
I basically use the bird species as like an umbrella for like all the things that people can face discrimination against. Because like the corvids are like the lowest on the totem pole kind of thing, and like always looked down on in society, and like kind of like the bottom bitches or whatever. And then you've got like the eagles and stuff at the top, and that's kind of like what it's based on. There's a lot of like government things going on. There's a lot of like conspiracies. There's a lot of weapons and stuff, but it's a lot. It's hard to explain in like 2 seconds kind of thing. And then like next season's just going to take all that and kind of ramp it up by 500. So
check it out on Webtoon.
Yep. Yeah. And we'll leave a link to that probably in the description of this too, so people can check it out. And you do everything on that, correct?
Yep. I write that one as well. Yeah. It takes up a lot of my brain space. So like sometimes, working on Sonder's nice because I also don't have to think about the script or anything. I can literally just draw the pages because everything else is already done. So, and I literally just like don't have the brain space to think of anything else at this point in my life. Like it's just, everything is just the croaking and I'm just very tired all the time. And I've got a couple more projects as well, but those ones don't really get the love that they deserve at the moment. So those ones are just kind of like getting slowly chipped away at, but they're all on like either Webtoon or Tapas as well, which is just like another online web hosting thing, website. That. And then eventually, like whenever they're actually done, I'll just print them and sell them that way. Once Comic-Cons and stuff start happening again, I can go and sell them in person.
And you've got the Etsy shop as well, yeah.
Yeah, I just sell prints on Etsy as well. I do a lot of things. But you gotta maintain the hustle in this business, you know. You gotta stay relevant. You gotta tire yourself out until you can't actually sleep anymore because you're so tired. Looks into the camera.
And I think that sums up who the harder worker in partnership is. Is Shard still up on Webtoon?
Yeah, Shard is, but I'm not promoting that because I'm ashamed of it at this point. That was my first webcomic. It was an experiment. I learned a lot of things, and I'm not going back there. So,
right. So apologies if I say that's still pretty cool. Like when you see something like that, and you see the development and something go through,
the growth, yeah.
I like to think I've come a long way at least, but
I like on the one hand, yes, 100%, but on the other, Shard's pretty gangster. Like I think it's definitely worth going back and having a flick through. That's where it started for me, and I was like, oh, that's what a story can look like when you visualize it frame by frame. So for anyone that's either interested in a good story or wants a good read or goes out there, start from the beginning, work your way through. Yeah.
I feel like I just need to like take you around everywhere with me so you can just hype me up all the time and just tell people about everything that I'm working on. So I don't have to say it and sound conceited, but then like you can just say it and then get me the promo.
Right. And again, I'll say it a million times every time I speak to anyone. The actual talent of this, Megan.
Yeah.
And we're actually, no, to be fair, we're seeing it live now in front of ourselves. You've got a guy talking nonsense with the bourbon in his hands. While you're doing the business, laying it out in front of you. Yeah, I think it's quite clear.
I've just been coloring for an hour. This is most of my job. It's just coloring.
Which is funny. We've talked to a few of the guys from like the Mad Cave Studios. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I think so.
They're another indie comic, but one of the guys does all the lettering for them, and they'll talk about how they'll have these meetings where they all sit on a Zoom call, and like the two letterers they invite are always just actually working, while the rest of them are just shooting the shit, doing nothing, and they're just sitting there like typing away and figuring out how to play stuff, which is just seems hilarious and like what you're saying. So
yeah, except I'm all of those people at all times.
Have we talked about? Oh man, I love that this is in the live stream. So have you guys? What's your guys's like? Obviously, we have a geographical difference. Do you get a lot of like U.S. indie titles, or you have a lot of your own like indie hubs where you're at, and it doesn't really like translate a ton?
Are you talking like shop wise or like?
No, like publisher wise.
I think we have quite a few indie publishers, but I am more familiar with the American ones, I think, when it comes to it, just because obviously you probably want to get published by an American publisher just because they have the American base, essentially, because it's cheaper to ship out from America to Americans, especially in these day and ages. But yeah, I mean, there are like a few bigger London publishers, but they don't necessarily go for indie title. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on like the publishing scene in London or anything like that. We do have a really big art scene in like Manchester and things like that. And we have a couple really good Comic-Cons as well. But obviously nothing the size that America has just because of geographic size and things
numbers.
like that. Yeah, literally. Like we were gonna, there's a really big one coming up, Thought Bubble in November, which is like the biggest indie Comic-Con that you can have, and it's usually up in York. I went last year and it's amazing. Like everyone there is indie, and it was just like a really good vibe. It was really fun, and I was gonna sell it this year because I got a table, but obviously it's not happening. So the digital one's gonna happen instead, and then hopefully I can do the next year one if those are happening then. But that's generally when you get like more of an idea of what the scene here looks like, because you can just see everyone and interact with them then. It's normally quite hard to actually get a hold of like publishers and stuff here, I think. But I mean, that's just limited experience coming from me. I haven't been back in the UK for a while now because I was in Texas for 10 years before this. So like, I'm still learning as well. But yeah, I was just randomly there for 10 years. No big deal.
Randomly there. I showed up and I never left for 10 years.
Yeah, there's no
where in Texas?
Just outside of Houston. And then I was in Dallas.
Jacksonville. She was in Jacksonville, Texas. Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
Texas. She's definitely not from Houston. She's not a Texan supporter at all.
Megan seems like a really big American football fanatic.
I went to I went to A&M briefly, but like I did my undergrad at the community college by A&M, so obviously the football team there is really big, so I used to get like brought to like all the football games and stuff, and I just like stood there and I was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, Texas is a little bit into football. I can blur that out. I'm just gonna put the Lions logo there
or put the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans logo.
Yeah, no, it's not my thing.
That's how I get my first piece of hate mail from an author. Putting the Texans logo over the Jaguars logo.
Cease and desist order, yeah.
Yes. Do you have a favorite indie title? Because I saw that you had a lot of Marvel stuff that you've been reading up on. Do you read a lot? Do you read indie stuff along with that, Adam?
If this isn't me, I'm going to be honest here. It's what Megan fires across, and somehow I'm going to say Saga again, but there's another one that you fired across that had phenomenal artwork, and I can't remember the name of it.
Was it? I'm trying to read it on my shelf.
Isla.
Is it Isla? Is it Isla or is it Isla?
It's not Isla? I thought it was Isla because
from Whiskey, I would have thought it was Isla. But yeah, it's genuinely like, because I'm so.
Yeah, no, Isla, yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
that?
It's the one with the tiger.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I haven't read it yet.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's horrible. Should be ashamed. It's the more you speak to people, the more things get flagged up. You have a look at them, you go through, and as we said right at the start, community, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at my shelves to see if there's anything that I haven't talked about. But I've got, I mean, I say shelf, but it's just a windowsill. I don't have any bookshelves with me. No, I think it's mostly just manga. I'm super into Beastars currently because like the world building in it's amazing. And of course, like the Netflix show just came out as well. So if you haven't seen that, it was like it's got like a stop motion animation beginning that's just like insane. And
that's cool.
Like, it's a really good show, and it's like not what you think it is. You like think it's gonna be like this weird romance thing or whatever, but it's like not. And the manga just goes like super into detail about the world building for it and everything, and it's just like insane. I always harp on about it just because I'm just so impressed and I'm jealous.
What is it called? Because that's news to me. I haven't been into the manga scene in a while now. Beastars?
Beastars.
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 Oh, Beastars.
Yeah, I don't know. But that one's really good. It has like really interesting like dynamics between the herbivores and carnivores, because like the herbivores are the ones that are actually like in charge, and like the carnivores have to be like delicate and stuff around them and things like that. And it's just like very interesting, like how their society is built. Yeah, that's all I can
Right.
say about
No,
it.
yeah, that's interesting.
But that one's a really good shout as well.
So for Nick, some of the imagery looks like a PG-13 version of Unnatural.
Oh, okay. I can get into that.
Yeah, do it now.
Mm-hmm. My daughter recently picked up a Magna book. It was just a Pokemon like free comic book day, but it was done in that style. And she asked me if it was a left-handed book because it's. She's like, Dad, is this a book for people that are? She's like, Dad, is this a book for people who are left-handed? And it was like, no, honey. That's just how their books.
I feel like that's a valid question, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really was. It was such an innocent question. Yeah,
you can't know that some languages are right to left. That's like because
you can tell though. She 9.
Yeah, no, that's oh my god, that's I love that.
Yeah,
so
you could tell she was like sat and thought about it. Like, I bet this is why. You know, it was one of those questions where she's like, this is like it's for people that are left-handed, right? Like, no, so close.
It's a left-handed artist, so that they didn't smudge while they were writing.
Yeah.
I like love-hate that the art's happening because I just keep staring at it and don't think about
I know,
it.
it's great. It's so good. This is awesome. Oh my god.
Well,
I'm trying to think of things, and it's hard to think of things.
I'll throw one Punch Man into the mix.
One Punch Man. Yes.
That's it. Yeah, a lot of people say, "Wow, right." That's
so fucking good.
I'm from Netflix, and now I want to read all the comics for.
Oh yeah, really recommend. It's why I've been doing 100 push-ups and 5 miles a day. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
I swear I do everything backwards. I'll find it when it's on the video format, and then. But that have you read the actual comics for it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and it's one of those times where I'm like, a lot of the times once you've watched something, it's just like, I don't know if it's worth reading. It's definitely worth reading. It's definitely worth picking up. You get a lot more out of it, and it has a similar feel, but you'll still really enjoy it, and it will honestly just make it so you want to rewatch it, and then you'll be like, oh, I love this person even more. Because they didn't get enough screen time. Like, that's my favorite. And it's
my wife is going to email you direct, Todd, and tell you she hates you.
Hey, that's not the first time.
He barely put up with it the first time. Now if I go full comics and rewatch, baby, I'm sorry.
And then the next time you watch it, you'll also have all these insights that she'll definitely care about.
You want to tell her
while you're watching.
You're gonna want to pause it and just, hey,
you don't even know the setup for this. Oh, it's crazy. So
this little like emotion, and she's like, yeah, no, I didn't see it.
No, I definitely still recommend picking it up. It's definitely worth it. That's one of the few, because I've been so far removed from the manga scene for way too long probably for what it is, but that's one of those that I definitely, it'll always be around. I've read it 4 or 5 times probably. It's great. It is definitely worth it.
Sold.
I'm trying not to get these guys into manga because they're still, you guys are both a couple of years into comics. Well,
it's like a whole new world.
It's a whole, no, that's the thing. It is a whole new world. It is like getting back into the comic scene when you get into that. It's
you gotta
crazy.
relearn how to read them and how all the little nuances and stuff that they do in manga and things like that. And you're just like, oh, this is just such a thing that they do. And you're just you're charmed by it still, though, is the thing.
Yep. Yeah.
So you don't have that in comics.
I bought the first volume of Vinland Saga, which is like a Viking manga.
Yeah.
And when I read it, and I was like, this is sweet. But also, I I've already spent too much money on comics, so I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't read this and just set it on the shelf somewhere, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's all I need is more comics to buy.
I really like that bolo tie, and I'm glad that it's turquoise.
You like that? I like them to have some flair every now and then.
Have you guys watched Parks and Recreation?
Of course I have. Okay. I've watched it about 5 times at this point.
Every time I see a bolo tie, I can't help but be like, yes, my son has an Etsy shop. He's a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
I do love a good bolo tie. And now that I know you have ties to Texas, makes it even better that there's a bolo tie in here.
I just like interesting accessories, I think is the thing.
Yeah. Armband. You got the armbands and the bolo ties.
Yeah. I say people don't accessorize enough. I wear sweatpants every day. So you know.
But there's always something accessorizing my sweatpants.
There you go. I have different slippers on every now and then.
Yes. There's an enamel pin on this pair.
I'm getting like super into enamel pins again, just because like I traveled and I was like homeless for a bit, so I like didn't have anywhere to put pins, but now I have somewhere to put pins, so I'm just like they're just
yes.
And I made a bunch as well, but they were like wooden ones for my bird characters, whatever. But like, yeah, they're just a lot of fun. There's like a big collector community as well. People that just collect pins. And now they have like those Eater bag things where like they have bags that can showcase all their pins.
I have one of those.
It's good because like that way you don't have to like accessorize on your clothes. You can just put them all in your bag, and then you can show them to people instead of just like having them on your wall or something.
I've had one for like a decade. It's called a bag of holding, but it's the convention edition of a bag of holding.
Oh yeah.
So and it has like that. The whole front is that enamel pin style, like it's meant to. Idea. It's great. I love it.
Yeah,
I miss conventions.
I know. Crafty people just make the best things. I find like they always make things that you don't think that you need.
I know, right? It's the worst. It's super mean. It's like I didn't know I needed to spend $20 right now
on a pin.
Yeah.
It is in the shape of Gus from Saga.
Yes. Oh man, that Fu Manchu though.
You like that?
It's between him and bolo tie. It's a tough one.
I was considering giving him like head tats, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like a dragon. Or you
can just put some headphones on him and maybe give him some hair.
Maybe lighten the complexion.
Yeah, a little bit. Or a lot. Is he Yakuza? Because then, a little dragon sticking out the top.
Yeah, I'm kind of like just taking inspo from like every gangster ever, essentially.
Perfect. Yeah, if he's Yakuza, a little dragon tat on the top would be perfect. Yeah.
Like the city is everything, so the city's gangsters are also everything.
A little Tokyo, a little New York, a little. Oh man, yes.
You know what's really popular in that scene is burrito tattoos. Actually, it's surprised you didn't know that, but
gold burritos.
In all my research, I've never come across that.
That's weird.
Wow. It's just common knowledge here.
Yeah. We can send you the articles. Yeah. But you could probably trust us.
They're
awesome. We need a couple days to type them up. I mean, find them.
Yeah, find them.
Yeah.
I won't accept wiki articles.
Yeah, it's all Wikipedia. It's all Wikipedia links. See?
So we're on the topic of burritos. I think I have the most important question that we might ask all day. So let's start with Megan.
This is a very interesting because we have somebody who lived in Texas for a while. I thought this was going to be I thought this was going to be a terrible question for them because Mexican food across the pond.
It's not great.
It's not great.
I was in London once and I got some guac and it had sweet corn in it, and then it came with tortilla chips that had sugar on them.
Oh,
and I was just like, I was disgusted. I was horrified.
But if you were to make the perfect burrito, what would you have on it?
In it.
In it, on it, whatever.
It could be a bowl, I suppose.
Burrito bowl. Who's gonna do that? Just get that tortilla.
Thank you. There we go.
Are we just gonna go like full like mince and everything and like?
Yeah, whatever you would put in it.
I would do the beef mince. I would do the hot sauce. I would do the guac. I would do the salsa. I can't believe I forgot the word salsa. That's how long I've been gone.
It's been a while.
Sour cream. Lettuce, beans.
Oh, what kind of beans?
The black beans.
Yeah.
Maybe a touch of refried beans if I'm feeling spicy, but not like spicy just if I want like not having flavor on it because black beans don't taste like anything. Cheese, obviously. I think that's it. That's about all you can put on a burrito, isn't it?
What kind of minced beef? Is it barbecue? Is it brisket? Is it just ground beef?
No, it's just ground beef.
All right.
Classic.
If
I'm feeling fancy, I'll go with the brisket, but like,
nice.
They also just don't do good brisket here, so ground beef.
Oh man, no bad Mexican and bad barbecue. And you lived in Texas, so you probably you got unfortunate higher standards now.
Yeah. Like literally, if I want a margarita, they just can't even do them right here. They can't they don't have like the slushy machines for them. They don't have the big glasses. They charge you like £10 for a tiny like little glass like this. Not even like the bowl.
That's like $15. Dear God.
It's all a scam. It won't be crushed properly. Like there'll still be giant chunks of ice in it. Like it's just so disappointing. I want to just start my own Mexican restaurant just to like have Mexican food, but like also I'm not qualified to start a Mexican restaurant. But yeah.
All right, Adam. Follow up the someone with expertise. I'm so sorry.
I know. I've been thrown in front of the bus.
Don't put pineapple on it, Adam.
That's a yes. You're right. So you've gone beef. I'm gonna have to go pulled pork then. So soft tortilla, pulled pork.
He's had too much.
Tell me a soft tortilla and pulled pork and cheese. I know there's meant to be some sort of rice in there.
Oh, I forgot the rice.
Throw risotto rice in there. That'll be horrific.
Oh man, Ramsey's burrito.
No, so we can definitely, can't we? Right, so it's like awkward pause for 10 seconds. I'm going to quickly Google.
It doesn't count if you have to Google it.
No.
Just say you would have pulled pork marinated in bourbon and then call it good.
Yeah. Some rice and cheese.
Yeah, rice and cheese and some bourbon pulled pork.
Yeah, I think that's the combination.
There you go.
That's the winning one.
Hey, that's fine. As long just wrap it up and eat it. Yeah. That's
that's
because it's what, like 2 o'clock to you, 3 o'clock to you. That sounds like the right time to have that.
Right.
This is the worst thing. Is it's the sort of thing that you'd be like, that's phenomenal. I'll buy it. I'll wrap it up. I'll put it in my pocket. I'll then walk home, fall asleep, forget about it, wake up and just have mush everywhere and be like, shit.
I always hate waking up in the morning to mush.
Yeah.
In my pocket.
In my pocket.
What I used to do before a night out was I'd go to McDonald's. I would eat a burger, like one of those like little dollar menu chicken burgers or something. And then I would buy one and I'd keep it in my purse for later. So then afterwards, when I was like finished drinking and everything, and I was walking home, I could just whip out a McDonald's burger. And just
you got something solid. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like next level. Like that's my greatest achievement in life is figuring out.
Mine was always peanut M&Ms. That was always what I
But it doesn't have the grease for it.
Like, no, and that's where yours is superior because I can't keep a burger in a pocket. I don't have a purse.
Fanny pack.
Yes.
Fanny pack and
bring your bag of holding. Show everyone you're an animal.
The bag of holding, and I just.
It's full of McDonald's hamburgers
and pins
and pins.
Oh man! Oh, now I need a burrito and.
I'm going to gracefully disappear for 2 minutes and then, for no particular reason, but I'll be back.
Okay. No real reason except for a lot of bourbon
and a burrito.
I'm gonna stumble away now.
At this stage, this is where the real talent came in from my side, which was stuff happens. People do things and it looks really cool.
Oh Megan. My god. Yeah. Look at that. That's
I haven't done the highlights yet.
Bloody hell.
That's so great.
Right, go on the bottle. And I know I've been fixed on the bottle, but like listen details. There's the road.
Adam always transfixed by the bottle.
You love it. I got a so like whenever I do a project or whenever I get a tattoo for it, right? So like for Sonder, I got like the tattoo here as well. So there's a little rose right here.
Oh, 1 second.
Kind of
hold up. No, 1 second.
I
can do this. Oh,
like see the rose.
Yeah.
My third one. This is like a demon dog thing, and then like this is my passion project as well. And then this was my first one shard with like the little crystals and stuff. Because it was a witch one, but maybe it'll be a sleeve one day. We don't know. I'll find out.
Awesome.
So Adam said he was going to get a rose tattoo though because we published it. I'm still waiting on it.
So you are drinking bourbon, which, by the way, you're an American football fan drinking bourbon. You're in the wrong place. Is it Jack Daniels? Is that your drink? Or do you have like a favorite bourbon?
Oh, I love Jack Daniels. Oh, you've got me on a side path here. Like this is another 4-hour episode.
Perfect. We'll be bourbon burrito. It's alliteration, so I like it.
Yeah, like I would live on Jack Daniels for at least 4 years quite comfortably before the liver shut down and said maybe no.
Could you zoom out on what you've done so far and then I can awesome.
Yeah, and here in post he'll add in the original sketch right side by side. Yes. It'll be great.
No, I will. That was my plan.
But
that's not hard. The shit you guys say. Sometimes
and also he'll add
I can do
here over my face, maybe.
Fuck, yeah, it's just gonna be over your face the whole time now. That's what you get.
the entire time.
The whole time. Awesome. Cool. All right.
Is there anything you guys want to leave and say before we go?
We're so big now.
Megan will do one of these 3 times a week.
Nick, your cat is very loud.
Yeah, cook the burritos. She's a good lad.
I don't have anything in particular to say other than thank you for allowing us on your show.
Yeah, thank you for doing that art. That's the first time we've seen something like that. So that was actually really awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's good because it made me actually do my work. So
it's good motivation.
Yeah.
And when you're
I think you've seen who's the one that talks nonsense through the whole process and the one that actually does the work. Put a spotlight on everything that we may not have wanted.
The secrets are unraveling.
So we'll have links in the description for you guys. Anybody who's watching, check out Sonder. It's awesome. Good people are involved. Support them. Get ready for volume 2 because obviously it's going to be dope because we got to see what we are. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting wrapped up with us. I'm Todd.
I'm Cole.
I'm Nick.
Go Jaguars.
Oh. I'm Megan.
She got it.
Oh, she got it, and he's Adam.
Move on.
All right, this has been Comic Burrito, an interview. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And we'll do a countdown. 5, 4. 2, 2, 2, 2.
I can cut this out if you don't want to answer this or whatnot. So Adam is the beast, which is what I'm getting from this, which I assumed. Belle is Belle, but then also Red Riding Hood. And then she's dealing with her musician. Her musician who's the wolf. Yes, no? That's the one. Okay, that's the one that I was curious about because he could be the wolf, but he doesn't seem as predatory as a wolf would be. So I'm then thinking that it's Damien is the wolf. But that's fine. You don't have to confirm or deny, and if it's too much of a spoiler, I can cut things out because this is the beauty of not live stream. But that's what I thought at first, but then like the fact that like he wasn't actually, aside from like leaving her there and being a dick, he wasn't like a bad person who was harming her. He was a dick. Like he apparently, because that was a flashback about him cheating on her, I'm assuming. Like it's an interesting sequence, but I think when she's walking in on like the sex, that's a flashback. Correct?
No, it was that's just some random people that's in their apartment.
I thought she was flashing back to him.
No, it's
sex,
because
then he has the song about loving two chicks. Because we see that, and then he's like, I have a song about a guy who loves two chicks. So I thought that was a flashback to like, okay, all right.
No, it was more of like her hearing the banging and then being reminded of the banging from the closet.
From the closet.
Apartment. And then she was like, oh, Adam. And then she was like, oh, wait, I kind of like maybe want to go back to him. So that's why she leaves.
Ugh.
And then he's like,
by the way, wildly disappointing.
Yeah, right? She's got some stuff to go through.
Like, oh, that's such a damaged girl. And I hate it so much. It's so annoying because it makes sense. It hurts because I'm like, yeah, of course she turns around and goes back. But like, fuck, like, don't do it.
You gotta dig yourself out the hole first before you can become a person again.
Go back to the murderer guy. Like, is that the better choice?
Which is better?
He's not actually murdered anyone just yet, though. Like,
you haven't seen anything.
No, I do remember the beginning of the comic. There's a little foreshadowing, and I guess we don't know who that's about. But I feel like we know who that's about, but I guess we'll find out. I said out a lot in the last, 12 seconds.
Proud of you.
Did you take a closer look at the henchman that Damien has? Although I guess we didn't.
The one that's in this room?
No, not this one. Just in the first volume. Although I guess you see some of them more in the den, and you haven't seen them all together, to be fair. But I think
like little piggies.
No, but I think you'll get it whenever you see them all. Yeah, you'll get it when you see them all together, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's blah blah." But
okay,
and then they all have their own little traits and stuff, so you can probably guess their names also.
But... Is this something I can figure out in this volume, or are you saying in the next one that it would be able to be deciphered?
I think we've only seen 3 or 4 of them in this volume, so probably in the next one, I think.
So
Are there 7 of them?
It's the dwarves.
Yeah.
Is there one asleep in this volume? Because that's
the one
amazing.
in this volume, his eyes are really cloudy.
Yeah, dopey.
Awesome.
Because I'm looking at them currently.
He's just stoned the whole series. Yes. Awesome.
Yep. But we'll see some of them.
Is the guy in the closet one of the dwarves?
No.
I'm just gonna like I'm doing my own red stream.
You'll just be in the corner writing like your own fan fiction or something about it, being like, this guy was this.
I'm drawing on my window. I ran out of wall.
But now my neighbors know and they're asking questions and they're interested too.
Yes. Okay, now I'm just going back through it.
Yeah, so am I. All right.
Yeah, I was doing the same.
Just reading Sonder.